The bizarre tale of how Charles Guiteau killed President James A. Garfield is told in Netflix's new series, Death by Lightning. Over 4-hour-long episodes, we hear about Guiteau's stay in a free love colony, Garfield's bizarre journey to the presidency, Alexander Graham Bell's invention of the metal detector, and many other incredible tidbits. Mike Makowski, the creator of Death by Lightning, said, "It seemed way too crazy to be true." Makowski first learned about Garfield and Guiteau when he read Candace Millard's book, Destiny of the Republic, a tale of madness, medicine, and the murder of a president. The nonfiction book left him speechless. He said, "I felt like I had to check Wikipedia every 3 pages to make sure that this Kansas historian hadn't made up all of this shit about James Garfield." As it turns out, Death by Lightning is incredibly accurate in many ways. James A. Garfield really did win the presidential nomination following a contentious Republican National Convention. Chester A. Arthur really was a corrupt stalwart who became vice president and then president without ever seeking public office. Roscoe Conkling really was having a blatant affair with Rhode Island's First Lady. Every single woman at the Oneida settlement actually rejected Charles Guiteau. He really did sing that crazy song at the gallows, and they really did call him Guiteau. If anything, Death by Lightning leaves out even more absurd facts that would add even more depth to the story. Makowski said, "I truly believe that the show is, unfortunately, just the tip of the iceberg, and there are so many fascinating rabbit holes you can go down with all of these subjects." So what was left out of Death by Lightning? How did James Garfield actually die? Here's what you need to know about Death by Lightning's ending. Death by Lightning ending explained. How did James A. Garfield die? Death by Lightning is a detailed account of how and why President James A. Garfield was assassinated by Charles Guiteau, a mentally ill con artist. Guiteau became obsessed with the Republican presidential candidate and started convincing himself that Garfield's victory was entirely his doing. When Garfield and his supporters refused to give him a comfortable ambassadorship, Guiteau felt betrayed. He grew to believe that Garfield was a tyrant and that killing him was America's only hope. Conveniently, Guiteau would also become a hero if he killed Garfield. At least, that was his way of thinking. Just like the show portrays, Guiteau did buy a pearl-handled pistol because he thought it would make a more elegant museum piece. He started stalking the president, even sitting behind him in church. In 1881, before the Secret Service, it was much easier to stalk presidents. Eventually, Guiteau shot Garfield twice at a train station in Washington, D.C., and was arrested immediately. Garfield was first treated on the scene by renowned black doctor Dr. Charles Purvis before being moved to the care of Dr. Willard Bliss. The president survived the initial shooting, but sepsis took his life months later. While most modern historians believe Bliss's poor treatment contributed to his death, there's debate about whether Garfield would have survived anyway. Some believe there's evidence he had a ruptured gallbladder, which would have killed him regardless. And yes, Alexander Graham Bell really did try to locate the bullet using an early metal detector. Death by Lightning does a fantastic job authentically portraying all of these events, though it leaves out one really interesting part. We never get to see Guiteau's insane trial. Mike Makowski revealed that to get the series made, he had to cut the story from 6 episodes down to 4. Makowski said, "I'm still so sad that we didn't get to show that on screen with his poor patent law lawyer brother-in-law representing him at trial. I read 1,000 pages of trial transcripts. It's absurd." But in the end, Makowski recognizes the benefits of cutting the trial from the show. He explained, "I think we all kind of felt universally that, because the trial took place after Garfield had already died, in terms of the story we were trying to tell, once Garfield is no longer present, it just becomes the Guiteau show. Giving him an excessive amount of attention after Garfield's death, possibly to an undesirable degree." Thanks for watching. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more.